Well, hello, this is Rosa, rcgkreations. How are you doing? How's it going? Oops, forgot to turn my thing around. I've taken 3 packages of sliced mushrooms, white mushrooms. See that? 3 packages. Put them on my dehydrator tray. I took 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to take 5 trays. I'm going to dehydrate this at, I think it's 115 or 125. I'll put it in the description box and I'll do a pop-up. And dehydrate this because I'm going to make some cream of mushroom powder to put in a jar. I'm going to vacuum pack it. And that way, if the prices get really high on the cream of mushroom, cream of celery, because I'm doing the same thing for all the cream soups. Cream of mushroom, celery, whatever it is that we normally end up using, but mostly we use cream of mushroom. It's mostly what we use, or cream of celery is usually what we use. And I don't have any celery, but I think I have some dehydrated celery. I'm pretty sure I do. I think I got 3 jars of that. So I'll have to double check to see what's in my long-term storage pantry. And then I'm going to make some of that stuff so that way I can jar it up, put the directions on how much to mix together, and how to constitute it to bring it into a cream, like a can of cream soup. And that'll be for my for my everyday storage and long term, especially because prices of mushrooms are going up, and cans of cream soups are going up. And if it just gets too expensive, then I'll go into my pantry and use whatever stash that I have. So I'm gonna put this on the dehydrator. It's probably gonna take a good 6 to 12 hours to dehydrate. Cause see, some of these, and I already had the price was exactly the same if you did the whole mushrooms or if you did the slice. So for the same price, to save myself a lot of headache, I just went ahead and got the sliced ones. But some of these are thicker than others. Like here, look at this one. See the difference? Let me bring you up close. So it's going to take a while, but the thing is, because I am going to make this into a powder, but not so much powder. Well, it's going to be powder, but it's going to be chunky powder. And I'll bring you to that phase when I get to that phase. So it definitely will be tomorrow because it's already 12 o'clock. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. As you can see, my hair's all over the place. I've been sweating and stuff, but I put away and preserved. I went to the grocery store earlier today and I got pooped. I have a hurt shoulder, so I'm moving kind of extra slower than normal. I'm just making excuses. I'm putting it off and putting it off. So anyway, I'm gonna put this on the dehydrator so it can dehydrate while I'm going to bed, and then we'll check on it tomorrow. And then if I have time tomorrow, I'll go ahead and go to the next phase of chopping these into tiny little bite-sized pieces to go inside the cream of mushroom powder for my cream of mushroom soup for future use. So we'll bring it back when we get to that next phase. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, we are back. The dehydrator is done. And it did go on overnight. And at church today, we're back, supper, and I fell asleep. So now I'm taking the mushrooms off the trays. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trays. And you can feel them, because if you can, when you crush them and you don't feel any moisture, then that means they're all dry, which is exactly what you want when you're dehydrating. Unless you're like making jerky, or unless you're making like fruit roll-ups. Those will always have some kind of a moisture. And then some food items will always have some kind of a moisture, like more fruit items, but veggies will not. Okay, so there's all my trays. Now, because I want to control the chopping, because they're going to go in that mix, instead of using my electric the Ninja, or you could grind them into a. I'm not making powder. I'm grinding them into little bitty, tiny little bite-sized pieces. And I need another bowl. I went ahead and just brought all my bowls over here. So I'm going to use my old little trusty manual chopper. And it's the kind you just push down and it chops for you. Be careful, that stuff is sharp. And you can get these pretty much everywhere. I've actually seen them in a couple of those big grocery stores, like a super center. The bad part about this is you can't put a whole bunch of food in there like you can in a big chopper, but then some of them are going to be really, really extra fine and you can't even tell it's mushroom. So with this one you get to control it. And this may not work. This works fantastic for nuts and other items like that, onions, garlic. But this may not work because mushrooms are kind of, they're like sponges. So you know what? I don't think this is going to work. It's not going to work. So let me bring it back because I'm going to have to get my old trusty electric one and just zap away. And I'll just have to pulse it. Be careful when you're doing this because these blades are sharp. There's a piece stuck in there. I can see it. See that it's stuck in there? There we go. Gonna put this in the washer. I'll be right back. Let me pause this. I'll bring you right back. Okay. I went ahead and I've got this new, I needed an emulsion blender because my other one was not doing as well as it should have. So I got this Oster. O-S-T-E-R. It's a stick blender, but you get 2 attachments to go with it. So I got this one so I can do double duty. Now I have other little regular old Ninja, which I really enjoy, but since I had this, I wanted to try it because I've never used it. Today's my first time using it. So the stick blender part just sticks to this, and then you just pulse it. And this does get it really extra grind pretty fine. Okay. And here is what I already did. And you see some of that fine powder. But I want the bigger chunk. So because we're doing this, we're going to do this in batches. This is the bad part about this part of it. But, you know, you'd have to do that anyway if you did it in a coffee grinder. You'd be doing patches anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and finish doing that. And then I'm going to pulsate the rest of this. And then I'll bring you back. Okay, we're back. I did 2 other blenders, and I remember last time, because I wrote a little cheat sheet. Remember I tell you I put little cheat sheet notes on my recipes? The last time what I did is I chopped up the raw mushrooms before I put them on the dehydrator, so it was no big deal. And this time I just put the sliced mushrooms up, and because they're kind of rubbery, and I tried cutting them. This is a really sharp knife. It just didn't work. It was because it was too rubbery. It was just faster just to pull it apart and make it into pieces by my hand. So that's what I did. I just used my fingers, and look, I got all those. So 5 trays turned into this, and I chopped them all up to really extra fine, as you could see. And then the extra stuff that got grounded got into powder, so I've labeled them. And these are my dissolvable labels. I ordered these from Ball like 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years ago. And I really love them because actually just sitting in the water for just a few minutes and it just comes right off. You don't have that sticky residue from regular stickers. So I just recently ordered some plain white ones. They're like they look like return labels, but they're dissolvable labels. I ordered those through Amazon. You got, I think it was 500 labels for $9.99, something like that. But there are all kinds of dissolvable labels. Look that up. You'll be able to get some of your own. So now I've got a label here in my jar. And these mushroom powder. This is that powder that I got when I put it into my blender. Okay. This is fantastic. Now, like I said, everybody knows I don't care for mushrooms. Hubby loves them. I don't like the texture. I like the flavor of the mushroom. I like the flavor when it's cooking or you're putting it in something. But I cannot handle the texture of biting into a piece of mushroom. Okay, I just can't do that. But I do the powder, and I've done this before, and I was totally out. So this is actually a very happy mistake. And sometimes this just happens. So, but anyway, when like when you get ready to scramble some eggs for just for breakfast, or for, say you're making a quiche or something, okay? When you scrambled up your eggs, put some of this powder. I would say, depending on how, I would say like for 4 eggs, I would do 1 tablespoon. And then let the moisture of the egg soak up in the powder. And man, you're going to have some nice, great flavor, because you're going to get the flavor of the mushrooms in with your eggs. So for those of us like me who don't care for the pieces or the whole mushroom, powder's the way to go. Put this in your smoothies, all kinds of stuff. But anyway, I wanted to show you, tell you a quick little bit. This is my little stick blender from Oster. I really love it. Here it comes apart. This is the little blade part. And then you put it on here when you want to use your food processor portion. And then you put the whole stick blender. All this came together in the kit. Like if you want to make a shake or a smoothie. And you stick it in here for anything that you're going to make. Whatever, it's totally up to you. You got to snap it in. Okay, and then you can make whatever it is that you've got to make now. Because I'm an old lady. It's got the little dials, see that? But I have trouble doing it. So I got my little Sharpie and I wrote on there so I can see my the measurements a lot better. But this is, like say you need to scramble up, say 5 or 6 eggs, that's an awful lot. Stick them in, put your eggs in here, put your measuring blender in here, and you don't have a big old mess. So that was the reason why I opted up for buying this, because it's like 3 tools in one. And then, of course, if you have some left over, here's the little, I like the little cover. It's not airtight, it's not liquid tight, it's just a cover that you can put on there. And you just got to press it down until it goes in. And then there you go. It's crooked, but that's okay, I'm going for it. But anyway, so that's this phase of the mushrooms. And the next phase, I will link it in when I do my cream of soup powder mix. And I'll show you how I incorporate the chopped up mushrooms into that soup mix. So, because cream of mushrooms is the one we don't want to make a whole lot of. So I'm going to make that in a totally separate batch. That way it's already there. My mushroom pieces are already in there, and I don't have to worry about having another set of chopped up mushrooms. But I do like to have these in here on hand. So I may not do that. I may do it. I don't know. You know, I'm a woman. I'm fickle. I can change my mind. So anyway, we'll catch you. I'm not going to say goodbye because this is not really the end of this video. The next video portion is the cream of whatever powder to store on your shelf, so you always have a cream of mushroom or a cream of celery soup. So that'll come next. Okay? We'll bring you back when we get to that phase, which will be in a couple of days.